Well, we thought we'd come and speak to John Quaye from Manx Independent Carriers as the saga on what's going to happen with the shipping lines continues in the Isle of Man. Of course, John, the news came that Ellen Vannon have put back their start date. Do you want to comment about that first of all? I mean, you're obviously with Steam Packet.
That's right, yeah.
Would you be looking at them as someone you could do business with?
I very much doubt it at this stage. We haven't had an approach from them. And the problem that they're faced with is the steam packet is just so reliable. Every morning, the Ben McCree rolls up in Douglas Harbour at 6 o'clock, discharges. We can set out our day, just like clockwork every single day of the week, 365 days a year.
Now that's interesting. They haven't been in touch with you. I mean, you are one of the biggest, if not the biggest.
Well, biggest in terms of number of deliveries completed on a daily basis, number of vehicles employed, and number of staff employed.
Okay, I mean, independently look at the model. They're going to have to use side loaders from all accounts. That's the only way around
yes,
this.
they've printed a picture of the vessel on in the local media. It's a 32-year-old vessel designed specifically for the Norwegian fjords and Faroes. What has me slightly baffled is that it is a side loader, but the side door has a very small freeboard. That's the distance between the water level and the actual hatch. I don't see how it's going to discharge onto Douglas Pier, because the amount of time that the vessel is going to be that high in the water that the ramp can actually land on the pier, it's going to be extremely difficult, but only can discharge in high tides.
People with long memories, I mean, I remember as a kid coming on side loaders, and it's quite frightening, isn't it?
Well, the side loaders were designed specifically for the Isle of Man in the same way that the MV Cometa, the chosen vessel, was designed for Norway. Bergen, for instance, has tides of about 2 metres variance. The Isle of Man regularly has tides of 6 metres, but they can be as high as 10 metres when we get springs and neaps.
Now, competition surely is good. I mean, should we go back to the last attempt? I mean, I remember doing an interview with you many, many years ago and I think this was on the record, stay with me on this one, that you're one of the biggest clients of Steam Packet. At the time, they just put their rates up and you just simply get a letter from them. That was it. And you were quite vocal about that, don't they have any respect for me as being a big client? Now, has that changed over the years?
Yes, it's changed definitely after the last saga with the Mezeron service out of Liverpool. We didn't switch then. We stayed with the Steam Packet. We were loyal to them, and they're loyal to us now. I think you can say we have a better relationship than we had previously. But
I'm sure there was sweeteners. I mean, there was revisiting to your rates.
There was an adjustment of the rates, and basically it was in favour of the consumer. Well, I'd like to think it was in favour of the consumer, because we were invited to lower our rates by quite a lot of our larger customers, so we passed any reductions on to them. Now, whether they passed the reductions on in turn to their customers and the consumers or not, I can't say, but I can tell you that we didn't benefit a lot from the so-called price war, but definitely some of our customers did.
But is competition good then?
Competition is good, but what you have to accept is that the Isle of Man is a very small market. It's 80,000 odd people. And we are a small market. There isn't room for what's going to become a third shipping line, because don't forget, Mezeron still exists with their service from Glasson to Ramsey, the Steam Packet from Heysham to Douglas, and now we're talking about another service from Heysham to Douglas. You may not be aware, but in the Channel Islands there's an 80-year-old shipping company called IoM Renouf, who have just gone bust. They've been serving the Channel Islands for 80 years, started by Mr. Hewlin, who was a builder's merchant, and Mr. Renouf, who was a haulier. A couple of years ago they ordered 2 new ships, then the downturn came, they cancelled one of them, and I know they suffered substantial penalties. The second ship that was on order did arrive. They promptly ran to ground on its maiden voyage in Alderney, but they did get it back in service again, and a couple of weeks ago they went bust. Now there are 2 shipping lines to the Channel Islands. One was IoM Renouf and the other one is Condor, and the Channel Islands have more than double our population. So 2 shipping lines, one's gone bust, there's one left. We're going to have 3 shipping lines on half the population.
But I mean, the people behind this, I mean, very sensible people as far as I can see. I mean, they wouldn't risk their money, would they not, if they didn't see some sort of business plan in here. Otherwise, you might as well go to the casino. I think you've used this term in the past and just put it on red or something.
Put your money on red, better chance of making money.
I mean, they must see the potential. I mean, they talked to us before, and I know they're going to talk to us again. But I mean, to get your view as the middleman,
what they don't have is a track record to start with. I have a track record in transport, personally, of over 40 years. On my own account, almost 30 years. I know the game inside out. I know what's possible, what's not possible. I've seen them come and seen them go. We've had Mezeron try with their container service. Then before that, we had a firm who you may not remember called Manx. They were shipping containers out of Moston Dock on D-side. That was a flash in the pan. It lasted 5 minutes. There was, of course, the Manx Line versus Steam Packet saga when both reduced their prices to the extent that neither of them was profitable, and Mr. Sherwood managed to pull the Steam Packet out of the mire, and under the Sea-Link banner, which was then separated from Sea-Link as the Isle of Man Steam Packet Company, but under Sherwood's ownership. And prior to that, I don't know if you remember a little ship called the Stella Marina sailing out of Fleetwood, trying to compete on passenger market, and that didn't work very well.
But the Steam Packet is already mentioned. They did the interviews with us when they wanted to talk to us like this, and said there will probably have to be, if competition comes on that line, there will be more squeezing of their profits. Therefore, you'll get a better deal, maybe again, to not make you want to even look at moving. I mean, the consumer might do well on this short term.
I doubt it, really. The reason I wouldn't consider moving unless there's some vast difference in prices and the promise of a good service is the good service that the Steam Packet give us. What you have to remember is Steam Packet are bound by the harbour user agreement to sail every day, twice a day, and they honour that agreement. The Vem Cree, as I said earlier, it's so reliable, it rolls up every morning. Our customers demand that service. Customers with perishables like M&S, they've got seafood and fresh cream cakes and stuff like that. 2 days shelf life. They miss that sailing. They miss that day's sales in the shop. So then the shelf life of the goods becomes 1 day. Can they sell that? It's really difficult for them if they don't get a regular service.
Well, as you said, they haven't even approached you, which is interesting. No. But if they do come knocking your door, you'll listen to what they have to say, I suppose.
Well, of course, yes, I'll listen to what they've got to say.
And with your crystal ball, do you see this happening? Because, I mean, there's been this delay now. Do you believe it will be?
I think that they're going to find it tough starting in the new year, as now it's been postponed until after Christmas. And what a great time to start a shipping service, February. Horizontal rain, gale force 10 winds. And of course the other thing is the vessel has onboard cranes, which I presume they want to use. Very, very difficult to unload a ship in a harbour with a swell, and Douglas Harbour does get a heavy swell. You find that the containers are going up and down, up and down. You can't land them successfully. It's very dangerous. And like I say, we've just seen Mezeron try with the container service out of Liverpool, and it failed.
Okay, well, as you say, we'll see what happens come February. Thanks so much for talking to us.
No problem.